Dallas, thanks so much for joining us. Our show today is all about social media and TikTok and all kinds of things. So my first question to you is, how and when did you sort of make the decision to say, you know, I'm going to do more stuff on social media and TikTok?
Yeah, when the pandemic hit, I had nothing better to do, I guess, at the time. And I'm kind of from the old school, I guess. I was an influencer before there was such a thing as influencers. So I've been doing this for 30 years. I started way back in the 90s, way before there was internet or Facebook or anything like that. So I'm an old school kind of influencer. I've been doing this a very, very long time. I think I might have influenced the influencers, if that makes any sense.
And you do everything from dancing, and you produce music, and you're also a motivational speaker. How do you do it all, really?
Well, it's all just part of, it just kind of all meshes together. It just complements each other, you know, because over the years I've developed my skills as a speaker. I wasn't always a good speaker. I was very shy as a youth. Like a lot of our youth are pretty shy to speak, and I basically just built up my skills over the years and taught myself how to be a good speaker and a good spokesperson, a good ambassador, I guess, if you will.
And now you have a pretty big presence on social media throughout, you know, a number of the apps and what have you. So tell us a bit about what you do when you aren't performing and maybe when you aren't posting these videos.
Well, a lot of time I'm training and doing other things that I need to do. Right now I'm working on, I've got this new mindset called the millionaire mindset. And I've been developing this for quite some time because I'm trying to put together a program right now to influence more Indigenous people to be financially literate, because not enough of our people are taught those things, you know, and our people have the potential to be investors, to be real estate owners, but it's just a matter of making the right moves and the right decisions in your life. So that's kind of my new mission and purpose in life.
That's super interesting, Dallas. I had no idea, and I'm sure our audience is going to be super interested in hearing that as well. So just back a little bit to some of the social media stuff. What can people expect when they watch your content online?
I do things like powwow dance aerobics, so I not only focus on the millionaire thing, but I've also done powwow dance aerobics, and that's to encourage people to be healthy and have a, you know, no matter what you're going through in life, to take care of yourself, you know, whether you have problems in your life, stress or, you know, addictions, whatever, as long as you're taking care of yourself, you give yourself a chance to live another day, to live that much more healthier. So that's what a lot of my content is, besides sharing my hoop dance videos and the music videos I've done in the past. You know, it's all good. I put the best intentions out there on my platforms, and that's all I could do is just get creative, have fun, and that's all there is to it.
Okay, and what is powwow aerobics? I'm so curious.
Powwow dance aerobics is basically just taking powwow dancing and combining fitness and kind of putting it together in a program. And I put it together in such a way that it kind of mimicked those you know, those 80s morning workout programs. Those, I don't know if they're still around, but I remember back in the 80s when I was watching TV, I'd always see every morning, I would see these guys in real tight yoga pants just doing these workouts, you know, these body fit workouts. So I thought, why don't I indigenize something like that and make it part of that as well, you know, and that's what I see happening with a lot of influencers these days. And I've recently joined a production called Bear Grease, so that's kind of same thing, right? It's kind of a parody of something. So, you know, and taking something that already works and making it indigenized. So that's how we're indigenizing spaces as influencers out there.
That's actually really cool. I'll have to maybe hit you up and try see what some of that is all about. But what are some of the highlights maybe of some of the things that you've done over the years, whether it be in the social media era or maybe even before, like you were saying, you've been doing this for so long. What are some of the highlights that stick out for you?
I became a world champion hoop dancer back in the mid 2000s, and that was a big highlight for me in my career. So I won the world championships for hoop dancing 3 times, and that was a big stretch for me. And I remember thinking back then that was when people were saying that, oh, someday he's going to be the world champion. So I always kind of felt uncomfortable with that idea in my mind, that I had an obligation to fulfill. But I guess that just made me focus more, and that's kind of what I'm talking about with the millionaire mindset too. You know, like if you set your mind to something, even if it makes you feel uncomfortable, just keep on pushing forward, and you'll eventually get to that destination. You know, it's like Tony Robbins says, right? Where focus goes, the energies flow. So that's kind of what I'm doing, and some of the highlights I've done. I've been a part of Calgary Stampede for the past 20 years. I was one of their star performers. I've starred in a record-breaking 8 grandstand shows. No performer has ever been part of 8 grandstand shows. If you don't know the grandstand show, it's the evening show. It's $1 million a night show. And I was part of it for 8 different years, and no other Indigenous performer has been on that show for that long. And I've had some really, really great opportunities. Like last year, even during the pandemic, the government of Canada decided to ask me to come to Germany with them for the Frankfurt Book Fair. So I got to travel with the Governor General, got to even have dinner with them. And you know, those are some of the things that it has happened to me ever since starting hoop dancing. I've had a lot of great opportunities over the years in my career, and I'm very, very grateful for everything that has ever came my way. And I appreciate each and every opportunity, whether it's on a small scale or a large scale. I've always treated those opportunities the best I can possibly do at those times.
And why is it so important to have Indigenous representation throughout social media on all these different sort of platforms and apps? Why is that so important to have?
Well, because our people need that too. Even though we're kind of a small minority of the population, we still count. Our people need to be inspired too, just like how, you know, a lot of times we are inspired. A lot of our people do watch these programs that you know, they're made by non-Indigenous people, but we still watch them. We still consume the content. So I think in a big way, it's nice to have our own channel. Like the United States, they don't really have an APTN, you know, but the good thing about Canada is that we have that. We have our own television network, and I think that speaks volumes. So I think that Indigenous content creators is really important, because it's showing the world who we really are, and not just being a stereotype or an encyclopedia reference of the past of what once was. And there's lots of great influencers out there, like J. Roy Makokis. He's online scraping moose hides, and he has like 1 million followers. And he's just doing stuff like that, like sharing the culture and sharing the humor of who we are, and sharing the essence of who we are as Indigenous people. So we're not just a stereotype of the past, or you know, the trail of tears of what our ancestors left behind. No, we are here. We are present, we are conscious, we are intelligent, and we are talented, and we have the potential to grow and to be strong and contribute to the world. So that's kind of what I see with it.
And on that same note, Dallas, like, why is it important to give viewers access to lessons or teachings and that sort of thing on traditional things like dancing or hoop dancing and that kind of thing? I mean, a lot of people don't get to see that because they don't, you know, they're not Indigenous or First Nations, but people like you putting it out, why is that so important to sort of teach them some of the traditional things, like some of what you do?
Well, a lot of times, not a lot of communities have the resources to do so. Unfortunately, a lot of our Indigenous people are living in poverty situations, or really unfortunate situations, and that's kind of where I come from and where I grew up. And I remember not having those resources at that time. Like I said, when I started this journey, I didn't have a lot to go off of. I had to basically do it on my own. All I had is the will to do it and the passion to do it. And so what I'm doing as an influencer is giving people that extra push to encourage them that you don't need all these things to do it. And that's part of the story that I share in what I do, is that when I started, I had literally nothing. I was on welfare. I was broke. I was just like any other typical res kid, like I didn't have those resources. So, when life hands you lemons, you have to make lemonade. So that's kind of what the messaging is there. And that's why we share these things, to encourage others to do it. And the next generation is going to be even stronger, you know, because my son, Dallas Arcand Jr., he's out there now doing the things that I did, and he had a head start in life and into doing this. Like, he's a second generation into hoop dancing, and he has a son now, my grandson. So my grandson is actually going to have that much more better of a quality of life, and that's real reconciliation and happening from within our communities, and that's what it looks like when it's done right. It's not perfect, but it's done. It's happening, and it's the best way to do it is just to make it happen, whether it's perfect or not.
Well, we certainly wish you the best of luck with everything moving forward, Dallas. We're going to have to leave it there. Thank you so much, Miigwech, for taking some time with us and sharing some of what you do. And yeah, thank you, Miigwech.
All right, thank you. Bye.